Welcome back. I'm StasiaBliss, where we talk about Kundalini Awakenings and life force management. I'm recording this video on Saturday, which is Saturn Day. So if you're not watching on Saturday, you are still getting some Saturnian influence. And be on the lookout for what is here in this video for you. I believe everything that we come upon is synchronistic, even if there's just a small bit there for you. Be a treasure hunter and find it. Welcome to my channel. I have lots of resources here for you. Everything here is for you. Practices, techniques, meditations, perspectives is the main thing. Kundalini is really a change in paradigms, a change in perspectives, learning to go from a very polarized way of thinking to a unified consciousness. So this is a journey, and today I want to talk about the trust factor in that, which can sometimes be challenging. But before I do that, I just want to remind you that if you like this channel, if you like what you see, please do push that thumbs up button, subscribe. I have my website down below. If you feel like you want to donate to this channel, that's awesome. I've had people ask me, so I go ahead and put down ways you can donate. If you want to have private sessions, I offer those. All my readings are always done by donation, and they can be done via video, Zoom call, or over text messaging with audio and imaging, which are cool, and you can re-listen to them anytime. So if you want to do that, let me know. We're coming up on another full moon in Sagittarius next week. It's actually my 22nd anniversary birthday for my name change. So in 2002, during a Sagittarian lunar eclipse, I got a new name. So I'll maybe tell that story next week on that full moon birthday. I think it's the day before. It's the 26th is my anniversary, and I think the full moon's on the 25th, so I'll look. So trusting the process. So Kundalini awakenings are tricky because we are, before awakening, we are living from I hate the term higher and lower, but it's applicable here. We're kind of living from a lower mind. We're living from the mind we needed, the ego mind, to basically identify as this person and this body, which was a required step in our human development. When a Kundalini awakening happens, we are being asked to no longer fully identify with the ego self, even though, people say ego death, and yes, but no, like you still retain your ego because you still retain your identity. And if you're completely saying you don't have an identity anymore, but you're in a body, you're just not being realistic, right? I mean, you have a name and a persona and a body to take care of, but then you have a higher consciousness. And that higher mind is your divine self, right? Your higher consciousness system, which initially you may only get one layer, and it's kind of like a Russian doll stacking. You get like a higher version that sees where you can go, and then you're encouraging this lower mind to, like get out of the way, and also to like upgrade and up level. So part of this process is like a disintegration, a tower moment, again and again, repeatedly, of the old reality kind of like burning down, crashing down. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a dry throat, and I normally have water. I'm just about to run out to teach a yoga class, so I wanted to pop this on really quick because I think it's important. The trust factor, like when you feel like all is lost, to not hold on so tight, in fact, to try to release and surrender, to try to go, okay, hands up in the air. I surrender, God, I surrender higher self, universe. I don't know what's best for me. And I'm going to follow the path now being laid out for me. And it really is a trust test. And so again and again, we'll want to grasp and hold on to the things we used to know to be true, the things that used to be safety. And those might be belief systems or people or relationships or the way we used to do things or how we identified ourselves, our job, our title, our personality constructs. We try to hold on to those, but it's not going to work in Kundalini. Kundalini Awakening, the Christing experience of the self, it is going to rebirth you. It's going to resurrect your divine nature. It's going to redo, requalify, renew. And so, yeah, some of those old parts of you will come back and they'll integrate. But initially, you're going to experience like a loss of those things. And so that can be very disheartening. It can feel like all is lost. It can feel like you're dying. It can feel like, you'll never be good again. Like you don't know where this is going to go. Those are all classic in this experience, in this process. And so when we can acknowledge that, that's part of the process. Okay, that's part of the process that I'm feeling this way. This is normal. I'm not the only one that's felt like this. These are important markers and signposts along the way of an awakening journey so that you can recognize and you can get through it, because there's a part of you that knows this is what's supposed to happen. It's not abnormal. It's not like, you're actually going to die physically. You're going through like a soul transformation. You're going through an upgrade. And not to say there's not some good parts of you now, but it's like you're getting reworked and re-put together. And to do that, a lot of things have to get broken apart or destroyed or completely obliviated so that you can go into humility and surrender. If you're really resisting humility and surrender, it's going to be harder, unfortunately. So, for me, that was a lot of health stuff that came up. Like it just kept showing up for me in my body. I just kept being flat on my bed and having to surrender to some kind of health concern. And, we can look at that and we can go, oh my gosh, I'm just an unhealthy person. These things always happen to me. Or you can recognize the universe is trying to make me surrender. The universe is trying to put me in a place where I can receive, but I just keep wanting to go back to the old thing, and I just keep wanting to get over it and return to my old ways. And so it takes great humility and great ability to surrender what we think we need to do and trust that something greater is lining up for us through this process. And that's not the easiest thing, believe me. I've been very much challenged by this in my journey, and I've had to learn it again and again. And now when things start breaking down, I'm just like, okay, God, I surrender. Whatever you're doing, I'm off duty. Because it's like we can follow guidance to a certain place, and then our ego starts to get excited and starts to take over and starts to want to direct things. And that's when the life force energy, the God force in you is like, nope, you're not in charge. You get to follow instructions from spirit. You get to be a vessel for truth, for love. And as soon as you start taking the reins on that and thinking that your lower mind knows what's going on, then again, the process will repeat. That's again a pattern in one of these chakras. It's a survival instinct. It's amygdala kicking in. Oh, if I don't do this, we're going to die. I've got to fight for this. And sometimes you do have to fight for something, but usually if you do, you don't really want to. You're just like, oh, I know I need to. I'm feeling the push. So trust is a huge factor, and trust is a root chakra issue. It's hard to trust if we feel ungrounded or unsafe or like we don't have anything to trust in. We're disconnected in that way. So go back to the grounding video I did the other day outside and reconnect with the root. Use some infrared heat to pulse of the galactic center, get that root chakra grounding. I did that video the other day too. And just, you know, like anchor into that place and use the mantra to yourself, like, I can trust. I'm surrendering to trust. I had to literally get trust tattooed on my feet. I have purified clarity and surrendered trust tattooed on my feet. So every time I walk, I had those tattooed, and they were the most painful tattoos ever, but I needed to do that for myself because I kept thinking I knew best. I kept, you know, going back to my ego self. And I was like, nope, I gotta trust. I gotta get clear, and then I gotta trust. So I'm gonna just put it on my feet. So I walk in clarity and trust, and clarity and trust, and clarity and trust. So like whatever you gotta do to bring that home. Because this is about going home. I'm not like dying and going home, but coming home to yourself, to your divine nature. And it is a unified field. It is living a paradox sometimes, living the dichotomy, two seemingly opposing things at one time. I'm good and I'm bad. I'm right and I'm wrong. I'm yes and I'm no. I'm up and I'm down. I'm happy and I'm sad. And it seems a little schizo sometimes, or bipolar, but you're really trying to bring those two things together, life and death, and live them as if they're one. Ooh, and it's a journey. It's a journey that you don't do all in one day. You get glimpses sometimes of it all at once, but then you come back and you integrate one piece of your life at a time. One piece of your life at a time. And it's let it be a graceful journey. It doesn't need to be a hurried thing. We don't need to shame ourselves. We're not all done. We just keep going back and we finding the next place that we haven't brought in to the fold of our consciousness. We haven't loved about ourselves, and we haven't been able to hold, you know, with peace. And we just keep doing it. And we just keep trusting the process and knowing there's a higher wisdom that's guiding this thing, that Vijnana Maya Kosha, that's enveloping us and leading the way. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you again very soon. I love you, my friends, and namaste.